we are going on live. Okay.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah, yeah.
then Dr. Harpreet would give your introduction. And then
Sir, start.
Good evening,
Okay,
everybody.
fine.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Rehabilitation Sciences Group. Today we are having with the very interesting topic, that is let's exercise for improving core stability and posture. Today we are having with us Dr. R. Jaya Bharati. I would like to take her consent. We are going online, ma'am. Kindly give your consent for going live on for your lecture.
Sure. Yeah, sure, sir. Sure.
For today's sessions, we are having moderator Dr. Harpreet Singh, sir. I would like to invite Dr. Harpreet, sir, for giving the brief introduction for Dr. Jaya.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you. Dr. Jaya Bharati R is professor and principal at Sri Abhirami College of Physiotherapy. Dr. Jaya Bharati has 10 years of teaching and academic experience, and she has a lot of work in physiotherapy awareness and has been an eminent academician and a recipient of many academic awards. We welcome you, ma'am, for the presentation today.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for your warm welcome. Am I audible, sir? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So good evening, everybody who are watching me live on Rehabilitation Science Group YouTube channel. So I convey my gratitude to Dr. Shagan Agarwal, sir, Dr. Dharam Pandey, sir, Dr. Harpreet, sir, for inviting me to present in the Rehabilitation Science Group. I would like to thank Sri Abhirami Group of Institutions Chairman, Dr. P. Periyaswamy, sir, and the Board of Directors, Dr. Kundavi Devi, ma'am, Dr. Sendal, sir, and Dr. Balamurgan, sir, Dr. Umya Devi, ma'am, Dr. Sucharita, ma'am, who gave me the platform to mentor the emerging physios in their institution. So coming to my topic, so today I'm going to give a brief review on the Pilates exercise for improving core stability and posture. So what is Pilates? So nowadays, it is a very common term that is very often heard. The Pilates are emerging or having lots of interest and gaining lot of interest in urban areas. And there are many Pilates workout centers also emerging in urban areas also. So what is Pilates? So Pilates is a form of low impact exercise that aims to strengthen muscles while improving postural alignment and flexibility. So Pilates moves tends to target the core muscles and allow the exercise work other areas of the body as well. So you can do Pilates with or without equipment, but no matter what expect the moves involve the slow, precise movements with the breath control. So Pilates is a physical fitness system developed in the early 20th century and by Joseph Pilates, after whom it was named. Pilates called his method as contrology. What is Pilates? So as a mnemonic, we can give Pilates P as a precision, I as intense, L as longevity and lifestyle, A agility, T thorough, E energy expanding, S for synchronization and stamina. So who can do Pilates? So we have a next question that who all can do Pilates? Either I can do, or old age people or pregnant ladies or whoever may be, who can do Pilates? So it is a simple exercise that are particularly recommended for those who suffer from chronic neck pain, back pain, and postural problems, sports injuries, osteoarthritis, and osteoporosis, stress-related illness, and many other conditions. And it is a very safe, effective way of exercising, as you're encouraged to execute the moves slowly and within your own range of movement. So it falls within everyone's capability, from the top athlete looking to enhance their performance and to avoid the risk of injury, to clients who never exercised much before. So Pilates is for everyone. So what research says regarding the Pilates? So Pilates have a profound effect on improving the core strength, flexibility, posture, and balance. With these key components in place, the added benefits that presented themselves are that bone density remained steady, which helps to ward off increased risk of osteoporosis, and synovial fluid also increased around the joints, helping to fight against joint stiffness. So now we are going to see about the principles of Pilates. So what are the principles of Pilates? So we have 6 main principles of Pilates. Those are the concentration, centering, control, breathing, precision, and flowing movement. So Pilates is, throughout the Pilates, we are going to have the awareness of the body during the exercise. So that is the main important principle that we are going to see in Pilates. And centering is strengthening the powers, strengthening the core muscles. So that is called as centering effect. So core muscles, we all know the abdominals, and that is transverse abdominis, and the internal oblique, external oblique muscles acts as a powerhouse of our centering mechanism and gives strength to our body. And next is control. So utilizing total muscle control and breathing throughout the Pilates exercise will be exercises. The coordinated breathing exercises will be carried out. And precision is every movement is very purposeful movement and very precise movement. And it flows in the smooth and graceful manner. So these are the 6 principles that the Pilates include. So wherever we do for Pilates, so this principle should be kept in mind while doing it. That is, concentrate on Pilates, strengthening the powerhouse. That is, centering your energy into the abdominals and the lower back, having control, utilizing the total muscle control of your body, and the coordinated breathing activity, and very precise and smooth and graceful movement. So these are the principles of Pilates exercise. So let's have some Pilates equipments. Have a look of Pilates equipments that we are going to use. So in my class, in my study, I'm just going to talk about the Pilates only for beginners. So we have 3 stages of Pilates exercises that can be implemented in normal individuals. That is, you can go for a beginner stage, intermediate stage, and you can go for a advanced one. So for beginner, you can do Pilates in mats and with the help of the TheraBands and the Swiss ball and the squeeze ball, all this at home itself. And in intermediates, you can go to the Pilates reformer. And for your advanced one, that was used mainly for by the gymnastics or sports persons. So that is can be done in the Cadillac machine. This is a Pilates reformer. So this is used in the intermediate stage of Pilates exercises. So this is a Cadillac reformer. So used to do Pilates in case of for gymnastic and other sports persons. And Pilates workouts for those who are beginning the Pilates exercises, or these are the accessories. That is the yoga mat, then the yoga block, the Swiss ball, the TheraBand, and the squeeze ball. So now, just before entering into the exercise, we should know the anatomy and what is the stabilizers and what we are going to do the Pilates exercise, what are we going to strengthen. So if we know that, only we can do the exercise in an effective manner, and it can be very purposive also. So let's have a small look at the core stabilizers and also the posture, so that you will be able to know what is ideal anatomical position, what is abnormal or a faulty posture that has been occurred, and due to that, what are the muscles that has been weakened or lengthened, and how we are going to use Pilates and incorporating Pilates to bring back the normal and posture and stabilizers. The core consists of muscles of the abdomen, low back, and keeps the bottom of the powerhouse. It's thought to be the key to the person's stability. The abdominal muscles are made up of 4 units. So that is rectus abdominis, the external obliques, the internal obliques, and the transverse abdominals. So out of these muscles, we are going to focus on the transverse abdominal muscles and the internal oblique muscles. So these are the core muscles. So we have an external oblique, so that is located on the side of the abdomen. Then the rectus abdominis, located along the front of the abdomen. This is the most well-known abdominal, often referred to as six-pack, what we call as six-pack, that is formed by saphenous muscles. And the internal abdominal oblique muscle that is located under the external oblique, running in opposite direction. And the transverse abdominis is located under the obliques. It is a deep
Excuse me, ma'am. The voice is not very clear, ma'am.
Ma'am, please keep your phone near to you because your voice is not coming, ma'am. No, ma'am, your voice is not coming.
Can
Yeah,
you
ma'am.
hear me now, sir?
Yeah, ma'am. Now it's coming. Please speak, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have been seeing the muscles of the core, that is core muscles, that is external oblique, external abdominal oblique, and rectus abdominis, and the internal abdominal oblique and transverse abdominis. So external abdominal oblique is present at the lateral aspect of the front of the abdomen, that is at the sides of the abdomen, and the rectus abdominis is located along the front of the abdomen. This is the most well-known abdominal, often referred to as the six-pack. And transverse abdominis is located under the obliques as the deepest muscle that gives protection and stability to other spinal um, organs around, and it protects all your spine also. And the internal abdominal oblique located under the external obliques running in the opposite directions. So let's have a look about the posture, small brush up regarding posture. What is posture? So posture is usually defined as a relative arrangement of the parts of the body. A good posture is that state of muscular and skeletal balance which protects the supporting structures of the body against injury or progressive deformity. So irrespective of any attitude, either in erect or in lying or squatting or stooping, or in which these structures are working or resting. So we just have a look about the posture types. So normally we have the ideal posture is the one that is normal one, and we have abnormal, four types of abnormal posture. That is kyphosis, kypholordosis, lordosis, sway back, and the flat back. So principles of alignment of the joints and muscles. So evaluating postural problems requires an understanding of joint and muscle. So we have to evaluate the structures or the joint alignment and the muscles that is weakened or strengthened or shortened or elongated. Then only we'll be able to implement, or we will be able to teach the exercises for what we are going to do the exercises for. So the faulty alignment results in undue stress and strain on bones and joints and ligament and muscles. So joint positions indicate which muscle appear to be elongated and which appear to be shortened. So muscle shortens folds origin and insertion of the muscle closer together, and muscle weakness allows separation of the origin and insertion of the muscle. So this is ideal postural alignment. So this is aligned by, this is a plumb line. The center line is a plumb line that is drawn. So it should pass through the earphone and through the acromion. If the shoulders is drooped or forward or a rounded shoulder, if we have, this is because of the due to tight pectoral muscles or a weak scapula stabilizers. And the abdominal and chest, that is, it falls just anterior to the vertebral bodies, the thoracic aspect. And we have to find any chest or abdominal or back muscles or weakness or a postural alteration is present over there. And we have to look for a chest deformities also. Either any test cavers or whatever may be there. And the pelvis angle is normal. and the posterior superior iliac spine is slightly higher than the anterior superior iliac spine, and the knee is straight. If the knee is have a recurvatum, it is because of the increased lordosis. And if the knee is hyperflexed or flexed, it is because of the hamstrings and the gluteus tightness. This causes knee flexion, and the foot and pes cavus or flat is there or not. So this is the thing that we have to look for a posture alignment. What is the alignment of the body, or what is the alignment of the joints that is present? So normally the posture alignments can be done in a lateral view and also in the anterior view and also in posterior view. Now we have seen only the lateral view. So this is a picture showing a kypholordotic posture. So this is so in the picture we can see because of the kypholordotic posture, so the head is forward, it is protruded forward, and you can see the abdominals, that is external oblique, is elongated and weak, and the rectus abdominis is also weak, and you have the back, that is lower back extensors, is short and strong. So this is, and there is a anterior pelvic tilt. So this is a typical kypholordotic posture. So those who are having a kypholordotic posture will be having this abdominal weakness, rectus abdominis weakness, and very short and strong lower extensors, also lower back extensors. And the hip extensors is also elongated and weak, and the hip flexors are strong. This is a kyphotic posture. So that is, we have seen the kypholordotic one. This is the kyphotic posture, where you have the pelvis that is anteriorly tilted, and you have the short and tight neck extensors and hip flexors, and the hip flexors and the lower back also, and lengthened neck flexors, upper back, and the erector spinae and the hamstrings. This is a hyperkyphotic back. So this is the whole back extensors are stretched and weak and overloaded due to prone because of spasm, because of overweight or a stooping posture, and pelvis is maximally having the posterior tilt. And this is commonly seen in old age people, only hyperkyphotic posture. And you have a hip flexors that is elongated, hip extensors that is strong and short, and the knee goes for a hyperflexion. So this is a lordotic posture. So in lordotic posture, you will be having the anterior pelvic tilt, the rectus abdominis and external oblique is lengthened, and the gluteus maximus and the hamstrings are shortened. You can see the pelvis tilt below, that is where the pelvis is anteriorly tilted. So what happens? Obviously, you have a short and tight back extensors, and long and taut weakened, that is hamstrings, and short and tight rectus, that is hip flexors, and taut and weakened abdominis also. Next is a flat back posture. So in flat back posture, the head is again forward tilted, and the neck extensors are short and tight, and the upper back extensors are weak. Mid thoracic to lumbar spine is very flat, and you have a posterior tilt of the pelvis, and the hip flexors are elongated, and the hip extensors are short and tight, and the line, that is plumb line, falls just behind the knee joint. So the entire body has a slight forward tilt. And this is a sway back posture, in which you have posterior tilt of the pelvis, where the upper internal oblique is shortened and strong, the external oblique is elongated and weak, and the lower lumbar is flattened because the strain that is felt more here, upper trunk, it is rearward, and you have upper back extensors completely weak, and the neck extensors is stronger. scapula placement, neck alignment. So these are the 5 principles before starting the pilates. So lateral thoracic breathing. What is lateral thoracic breathing? Am I audible? Hello.
Keep your phone near to your mouth. Sometimes your voice is hazy. Otherwise, it's okay, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, fine. So there are 5 principles before starting pilates. That is lateral thoracic breathing, neutral pelvis, ribcage placement, scapula placement, and neck alignment. So throughout the pilates exercises, you have to keep these 5 principles in mind, and then you have to work on it. What is lateral thoracic breathing? So lateral thoracic breathing is nothing but that is place your hands on the lower ribs and feel the ribs expand, contracting. So breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. So this is your lateral thoracic breathing. Just place your both the hands on the lateral aspect of the lower aspect of the rib cage. Breathe in through the nose. You feel the ribs is expanding, and breathe out through the mouth. You feel the contraction of the ribs. So this is the lateral thoracic breathing. So throughout the pilates, going to continue do this breathing exercises in a coordinated manner. And next is your neutral pelvis. So neutral pelvis is the pelvic should not be anteriorly tilted or posterior tilted. So we have seen many postural defaults, that is false, like kyphosis, lordosis. In those such conditions and all, you have anterior and posterior pelvic tilt. Because of that, you have a elongated abdominals and shortened back extensors, and also you have a hip flexors that is shortened, and also the hamstrings in a lengthened position. So we have to keep the neutral pelvis in a neutral position. So to keep the pelvis in a neutral position, what we have to do? So it is a very simple. You have to keep the pelvis always in neutral by checking. Place both the hands on your anterior superior iliac spine, and uh, um, the anterior superior iliac spine with that of the symphysis pubis. It should form in a vertical line. It should be in a horizontal line, or it should form a triangle. Okay. So if there is any alteration in this, you will be having your pelvis is either anterior tilted or a posterior tilted. So you have to maintain this whether you have a normal neutral pelvis. And rib cage placement is just lie on your supine. Your rib cage is softened um, down. Scapula placement, you should not flare your scapula, should be down. Your scapula should be down. Neck alignment in a neutral position. The 10 commandments of setup positions. So we have seen the 5 principles that is we are going to do throughout the Pilates exercise. Next is the starting positions, or what are the positions that whenever we are going to do an exercise, it should have a starting positions, right? So for that, so what is the positions, how it should be? So that is the 10 commandments of the setup positions. So when starting any of the exercises, you need to be in correct alignment. It is pointless executing an exercise if the body is incorrectly placed. So you need to go through the 10 commandments listed below before you start an exercise in a position. So they are: keep your feet apart in line with your knees. Keep your knees in line with your hip bones. Your pelvis should be in its neutral position. Engage the transverse abdominis. Your rib cage is softened down. Keep your shoulders away from your ears, arms by your side. Your shoulder blades are down. Keep your chin in and neck long. Breathe in to prepare and breathe out to move. Your pelvic floor is engaged. So what is meant by pelvic floor is engaged? So you should have the pelvic contractions, pelvic floor muscles contracted stage. Okay, so as if you're going to, if you're in urgency of to void, you're holding to void. So that is your simple pelvic floor exercises that is normally done, and it can be done in anywhere, anytime also. So you should keep it in mind that pelvic floor muscles are always engaged. So Pilates exercises for beginners. We're going to see about 15 to 20 exercises in today's session. So, second question: pelvic tilt, abdominal hollowing, shoulder bridge, hamstring stretch, shoulder bridge with a single leg raise, cat exercises, all four balance, supine hip twist, roll down and roll up, prone squeeze, shell stretch, prone leg raise, hip flexor stretch, single leg stretch, oblique single leg stretch, monkey swat, swan dive, swimming arms and legs. So these are the exercises that we are going to look in this session. So first, you see abdominal hollowing. So abdominal hollowing. So as we have seen in the principles, was centering. So core stabilizers and centering. Okay, so the abdominal muscles and abdominal hollowing plays very important role in core stabilizing and in giving a centering effect. So how do you do this abdominal hollowing? So the abdominal hollowing is done in sitting, standing, lying also, and whenever you're doing exercise also. Whenever it is concerned, you have to concentrate on the core muscles, your breathing, and your fine rhythmic, very precise, smooth movements. Okay. So first, the starting question is whether it can be of a line. So pull your abdominals in as tightly as you can, creating a big gap between yourself and your clothing or shorts, whatever you're going to wear. So sustain it for a long period and let it go. So now pull in about 50% and let it go. So you're able to understand that is you have to pull your abdominal muscles tightly as you can, creating that you create a gap between your clothing that you wear or the shorts and sustain it for a long period and let it go. So now again pull it to 50%. You know the 100% of the abdominal hollowing, and now you pull it for a 50% and you breathe in and breathe out and let it go. So this is your abdominal hollowing exercises. Next is pull in to 25 and let it go. So initially you try to do this up to 5 breaths, and later you progress it to 10 breaths also, and you can do these exercises in sitting, standing, and lying posture also. This is a good exercises here for muscles. Next is your supine sit question for beginners. So the objective of this one is to establish good alignment of the spine and to practice the 10 commandments of the pelvis. This is the objective of the supine sit question. So you have to have a good alignment. So if you have the good alignment of the body, only you will be having a good posture without any shortening or a lengthening of the muscles. So the alignment of the spine is very, very important while dealing with the posture. It deals with the alignment of the posture and also with the core muscles. So starting question, supine sit question. So heel apart in line with your knees in line with your hip bones, pelvis in its neutral position, the transverse abdominis is slightly tensed or engaged so that you are going to contract your abdomen. Rib cage is softened down, shoulders away from the ears, arms by your side. So shoulder blades down and slightly tensed, and chin down, that is tucking your chin and neck long, breathe in and breathe out. So pelvic floor slightly tensed. So techniques, you have to breathe in and breathe out, contract the abdominals and draw up the pelvic floor. So this is repeated for initially for 10 times, reducing it as it becomes more automatic. So next is pelvic tilt. So this is the objective is to increase the mobility in the lumbar spine and to strengthen the core stability muscles. So start position is supine sit position. So technique is breathing, keeping the pelvis neutral, breathe out, and tense, and engage the transverse abdominis and pelvic floor through the pelvis to imprint the spine. So you're going to tilt your pelvis in your supine lying positions in the mat as if you are going to imprint the spine. So then breathe in and breathe out to the return to neutral pelvis and relax. So this is 25 repetitions. Shoulder bridges, intermediate. So objective of this is segmental control of the spine to increase mobility to develop core strength and strengthen the gluteus muscles and hamstrings, and to strengthen strong stability and length. The starting position is supine sit position that we have seen just now. It is a starting position. So shoulder bridge. So lift the pelvis off the floor. Breathe in and hold. So breathe out and engage the transverse abdominis and pelvic and return to the floor. Keep in mind the pelvis is in neutral and check your weight is distributed evenly between your feet. So starting position is supine position, and you just lift your pelvis off the floor, and then you breathe in and hold, and breathe out to engage the transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor, and you return to the floor. So this should be always keep it in mind when you are doing this in the two-lying supine positions. So you will be having the leg distributed to the normal, the sound leg and the other one. So make sure that you're going to distribute the weight evenly between both the feet. Next is shoulder bridge intermediate single leg stretch. So the main objective of this is the same as that of we have seen for a shoulder bridge intermediates, that is shoulder bridge exercises with our muscles. So what you're going to do, the same pattern, just lift the pelvis off the floor and breathe and hold. Then you have to raise one leg off the floor, breathe in and hold. Then you have to engage the transverse abdominis and pelvic floor. So hold it for 5 seconds and repeat it for your 5 to 10 times. So shoulder bridge intermediate is from the supine set position. You're doing a true lying position, and you're going to raise your pelvis off the floor first, and take a breathe in, and you hold your breathe in, and you engage the transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor muscles. Engaging transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor muscle is nothing but doing abdominal hollowing, and also pelvic floor exercise as we have seen, holding to avoid the urine. So maintain that position and then breathe out, and then breathe in. Again, you stretch one leg off the floor and leave it off. So this is shoulder bridge intermediate single leg stretch. So these are the muscles that is working in a shoulder bridge intermediate single leg stretch. So you can see, so all the core muscles, your rectus abdominis, external obliques, and your lower back muscles, your gluteal muscles, and the quadriceps, and all your gastrocs are also working, and your biceps femoris is also stretched over here. Okay. So next is roll up and down. This intermediate one. So the objective of this Pilates exercise is to strengthen abdominals and spinal muscles during flexion and mentally. Strengthen all posture stabilizers and develop posture. So the position is supine sit position. So you are going to lie on your supine sit positions, as we have seen in the 10 commandments. That is the starting position. Now you just raise your arm over the head and tilt the pelvis and continue to roll down segmentally towards the floor and down, and raise away from the floor. So what you're going to do is just lie on your back, just you raise your hands over your head, then slightly tilt the pelvis as such you are imprinting the yoga mat or imprinting the spine. Then continue to roll down segmentally towards the floor. So as if you are getting towards or sitting towards, as if you are coming to sit. So you continue to roll down segmentally towards the floor and raise the leg away from the floor. So this is the exercise. It is roll down and roll up intermittent exercise. During that session, it is breathe in and hold the position. Breathe out as you roll up and stretch towards the toes. And breathe in to start rolling back again. So you can see all the muscles that is going to go in a and and see
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Kindly keep your phone near to your mouth, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am.
Can I hear? Can you hear?
Yeah, now we can hear you, sir, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so thank you. Okay, so this is, you can see the muscles that is working on while doing a roll up and roll down exercises. So all your rectus abdominis, external obliques are working, and your quadriceps, that is, and your adductor longus and sartorius, all are working together to strengthen your core and also align a normal posture. So breathe in to lengthen the legs away, taking the arms up and over the head, keeping the rib cage down. Breathe in for skull drop and raise the arms to the ceiling. Slide the ribs towards the hip, lifting the head and the shoulder, wheeling out the spine up off the floor. And breathe out as you roll up and stretch towards the toes, sliding the shoulder blades back away from the ears. Head between the arms, bend the knees if needed. And so breathe in to start rolling back or one vertebrae at a time. So this is what we have discussed while seeing in roll up and roll down. And repetitions is do 10 repetitions. And the C curve and the abdominal preparations are good practice for this exercises. C curve is normally making a C curve in a supine lying position, slightly posterior tilting your pelvis. It's just all for cats. This is a cat and camel exercise that we all know. So this is working upon. So you're doing a prone kneel on with your hands. That is the rectus spinae, the iliocostalis, external oblique, and the rectus abdominis. All are working to form an internal facet. When you do this cat and camel exercise. So to strengthen the spinal extensors and the core muscles, the main objective of this arts is to strengthen the spinal extensors and core muscles. So you can see the erector spinae all contracting together. So this is a cat and camel position, prone kneeling with chin tuck, slouch back, and come down. So the repetitions, 5 to 10 repetitions. Keep the pelvic floor engaged and breathe in to breathe out, and the transverse abdominis is also engaged. Next is your shell stretch. So the main objective is to stretch and release back extensors. So breathe in and out while in this position, keeping the body relaxed. If you have a knee problem, roll onto your back or side and hug knees into the chest. So the starting position is kneel sitting position, and then you can roll to have your shell stretch. So this is called as shell stretch. The hip flexor stretch. So objective is to lengthen the hip flexor muscles. We all know very familiar with this. The starting position, this can be done in standing and also in a half kneeling position. Kneeling with one leg in front, technique with one leg in front, knee bend at a 90-degree angle, and in line with the angle. Breathe in with the pelvis and spine neutral. Engage abdominals and pelvic floor. Tuck tailbone until you feel mild tension at the front of the leg. So hold the stretches for 2 to 3 breaths and release. Repetition is 3 times on each leg. So this is your hip flexor stretch in a kneeling position. And this is your hip flexor stretch in a standing position. Next is monkey squat. So the objective of this exercise is to develop good lifting skills, strengthening the trunk stabilizers while lifting. Starting position is stand in the standing set position. So technique is breathe in and breathe out and engage the transverse abdominals and pelvic floor muscles and hinge from the hip, taking the bottom back and bending the knees. The arms lift to the shoulder level, leading with the thumbs. Breathe in to return to standing and raise your arms to the shoulder level, arm facing one another. So you have to do that as a hinge from the hip. Take a hinge from the hip from the starting position, and then taking the bottom back and bending the knees forwards and raise your arms to the shoulder level and arm facing one another. The arms is facing towards the ceiling. So this is mainly for strengthening the trunk stabilizers while bending. Next is your hip twist. So the objective is to mobilize the thoracic spine during rotation and maintain stability and length. The starting position position. The technique, what are you going to do? Sideline supine position. You have to open, that is, you have to stretch both the shoulders and arms towards the side. Bend your knees and then tilt your pelvis to the right side or then the left side. So breathe out and engage the transverse abdominis and pelvic floor muscles while raising the arms to the shoulder level. Breathe in and hold the position. Breathe out and engage the transverse abdominis and pelvic floor muscles and drawing the right elbow in towards the waist, rotating the body to the right and looking towards the right. So rotating the body towards the right and looking towards the right and keep the hip bones facing forward. So this is your hip twist exercise. Repetitions all can be done up to 5 to 10 repetitions. Next is all force balance. So this is your all force balance. So starting position is the all fours are set position. Techniques is breathing control. You have to achieve your breathing control. Then stabilize the shoulders and stretch out an opposite arm and leg to leg, maintaining a neutral pelvis. So stretch one arm and one leg in the opposite manner. Breathe in to return to the chest to the all fours position. Repetition 3 to 5 times in alternating sides. Do it in the right leg, left leg, or left hand, and then left hand. Sorry. Next is your prone squeeze. So the objective is to strengthen the gluteal muscles and hamstrings to strengthen core stability, to develop the hip mobility. The starting position is starting in the prone position with your feet turned in the PG and toes, hands resting under the forehead and shoulders stable. So this is the position of the prone squeeze. Yeah, you can place any squeeze ball between your thighs to squeeze as such. That is the toes or the foot is facing each other in a pigeon toes manner, as such in a pigeon toes. So you can place a soft boiler or a cushion between the top of the legs. Next is your prone knee bend. So this is your prone knee bend. So this is bend your knees at one leg. The alternate knees can be bent with the pelvis in a neutral position and breathe in and breathe out to engage your transverse abdomen by engaging your transverse abdominis and also your pelvic floor muscles. So the muscles that is working in a prone knee bend. Prone knee bend can be done with the elbow support and also with the complete lying also. So this is done in the elbow support so that your back extensors are all working and obviously gluteus maximus and the external oblique is also working. Next is side lying open door. So this is the starting position is the side lying position. So the objective of the side laying open door is to develop thoracic rotation, to strengthen the shoulder stability, and to stretch the chest muscles and to strengthen the internal and the external oblique. The starting position is start in the side laying set position. There is a block under your head or for alignment and comfort. Your feet are together in line with your knees slightly lower than hip level. Your pelvis is in its neutral position. Engage the transverse abdominis muscles. Keep your pelvic floor muscles engaged. And your rib cage is softened down. Keep your shoulders away from the ears and your arms out in front in line with the shoulders. Your shoulder blades are down and engaged. And breathe in, breathe out. So we are doing this abdominals and the pelvic floor muscles and raise the arms towards the ceiling, turning the head to follow the hand. Breathe in and breathe out and engage the transverse abdominis and pelvic floor muscles and close the arm following the hand with the head. Next is your hamstring stretch. So lengthen the hamstrings in case of your posteriorly tilted pelvis. Starting position, start in the supine position with one leg extended. Place an exercise band or a long scarf around the extended leg with your shoulders relaxed and elbows down. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out and engage the transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor muscles. In supine lying, which is your arms at the sides of the sides, placing the palm facing downwards. Lift one leg. And the hips are in the neutral position and the pelvis or in the neutral position. Lift one leg alternatively. So single leg stretch to develop position, to strengthen trunk stabilizers and increase coordination skills. We are going to do a single stretch. So starting position is supine set position. Techniques is breathing to prepare, do skull rock, and breathe out to engage the transverse abdominis and the pelvic floor. Raise one leg forward and breathe in and out to engage transverse abdominis and pelvic floor. Raise the other leg, breathe in and take hold of the left leg gently. So this is your single leg stretch. Next is abdominal preparation or oblique strengthening. So this is the main objective to strengthen the transverse abdominis by maintaining abdominal hollowing while lifting the head. Also strengthens the core and shoulder stabilizers and the neck flexors. So this is a good preparation exercise for all the moves that we require to lift the head and the shoulders off the floor. So starting in the supine lying positions, your head, your hands, that is extend, that is flex, that is towards the head. So roll down and roll up. As if you are going to go, we have done the roll up and roll down exercises. That is your roll down safely from the supine position towards the floor as if you are going to touch the toes. Abdominal preparations. This is, you can see the erector spinae, that is longissimus, iliopsoas, all are lengthened and stretched. And you can see the rectus abdominis and external oblique, it's contracted. The hamstrings and the gluteus is also extended. So this is the abdominal oblique muscles in intermediate positions while doing roll down, the intermediate roll down while doing your intermediate roll down. You can see the muscles that is working on it. It's just oblique with a single leg stretch. So to strengthen the abdominals, focusing on the obliques, that is your waist muscles, develop core strength and strengthen the trunk. Slide ribs to the hip and raise head off the floor to look towards and breathe in to raise one leg off the floor. Then extend the right leg away and rotate. Right shoulder towards the left knee and rotate the left shoulder towards the right knee, maintaining the neutral position. Do it alternately. Repetitions can be done for 5 to 10 repetitions. This is abdominal crunch exercise. So it can be done in a starting position, in a supine lying positions. Then take both the legs away from the floor and roll up segmentally with your arms straight. Should emphasize on breathing techniques also. You can see the abdominal crunch exercises with a complete core muscles that is working on, and also your hamstrings and your hip flexors, your gluteus, and your rectus abdominis, your external oblique muscles, exercises like your hand muscles is also stretching and back abdominal crunch exercises. So mainly it is done to have to do internal stabilizers to strengthen the internal core muscles. Next is your swimming legs. So the objective is to strengthen the gluteus and hamstrings to develop core strength, lengthen the flexors. Starting position is starting in the supine set position. So this is your swimming legs. So raise one leg off the floor, keeping the legs long, and raise one arm off the floor. So after mastery, you raise both the legs and arms in alternate positions as if you are doing in the swimming. And make sure that you are not bending your knees. Okay, so keeping the legs and arms long throughout the exercises is very important in case of the swimming arms and exercises. So keep both the hips and the pelvic bone on the floor as you lift the legs alone, lift leg and the arms alone. So don't bend your knees or your elbows. So keep it lengthening throughout the exercises. So these repetitions can be done in 5 to 10 times. So technique. So breathe in to prepare, breathe out, engage the transverse abdominis and pelvic floor muscles. Lengthen the legs and raise one leg off the floor, keeping the legs long. Breathe in to return the leg to the floor and breathe out to engage the transverse abdominis and pelvic floor muscles. Lengthen the leg and raise the other leg off the floor. So breathe in to return the leg to the floor. So repetitions, this can be done 5 times in each leg. Next is your Seja exercise. So this is to develop coordination of the upper and the lower body, to strengthen the shoulder stabilizers, and to develop good scapula placement. So starting position is supine set position. So, you are lifting one leg off the floor, that is at 90 degree in the hip joint and the knee joint, and you are making the arms extended alternatively facing towards the ceiling and over the head. Okay, so you have to do this both the legs, that is alternative legs and the hands. It is right leg, left hand, right leg. You have to do it alternatively. So this is your Seja exercise. So it is for your coordinator upper and lower body exercises. We are going to do this exercises. So position is supine set position. Next is arm down. So it is to develop full spinal extension, to mobilize the lumbar spine, to develop strength and stability in the shoulders. The starting position is starting in the prone set position with the arms in the W position. So this is your standing position. So you can see the legs exercise practitioner, that is lifting. That is first A is done in case of uplifting only the thoracic cage up by holding the legs, and also you have to placing the knees and the elbows in the floor. So swan dive It is breathing to prepare, raise your hips, raise the breastbone off the shoulders, floor, and keeping the elbows down and palm facing downwards. So you have to keep your elbows down and palm facing downwards in the yoga mat. Then see the breastbone alone away from the floor. So it's breathing to lift a little higher off the floor, raising the elbows, lengthening the arms, and extending the spine. So you have to breathe in, position, then rise to both the arms and both the legs away from the floor, so that you're holding or resting your mental balance in the abdominals and pelvis. Pelvis and your abdominals rest on the floor. And the advanced deeper stages for the rotation, you can bring both the time the shoulders with the leg upwards and breathe in and breathe out and maintain the position. You hold it for a few seconds and repeat it. Swan dive exercises. So this is for to develop full spinal extensions. So by doing this, you can see what are the spinal muscles that is working on while doing this exercise. So complete back extensors are working in case of your swan dive. So starting position, you start with this like this, a prone position with the elbows and the hands resting on the floor. And second one, you just in that position, just lift only the shoulders away from the floor. Second one, you lift the arms and the shoulders away from the floor. And the third one, you lift the whole of the thoracic segment and the shoulders away from the floor as that of your lower swan. So you can see the gluteal maximus, hamstrings, and your gastrocs, soleus, and your back erector spinae, and longissimus, iliocostalis, spinal muscles, and your hand muscle, that is your triceps brachii. All extensor group of muscles are working on this swan dive exercises. So take home message. So move better, look better, feel better. So pilates works. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. With a simple language and with all the pictorial diagrams, you have explained well how the pilates can work for strengthening up your core muscles. And with the things you have told us, the different posture, and
Yes.
with the because of the bad postures, a lot of muscular dysfunctions are coming. So the conditions we are suffering of, this is only because of your muscle problems are there. So if we maintain our muscles, then we can avoid up all the dysfunctions in our body. So that is the main
Yes.
purpose of pilates I could come to know with your presentation. uh, Ma'am, one question is there. There are
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of exercise are there. Means
Yeah.
you have taught us around 20 exercise you have taught us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
is there would be any classification? So beginners would start up with the 5 exercise or the 6 exercise, because I think all the 20 exercise cannot be done by the same person. So something criteria is there. See, in a first from the beginning, how many exercise we should do?
Yeah, yes, sir. So that is for beginners. We can do only for up to 30 minutes. And the exercises that can be performed for the beginners is the abdominal hollowing. That is the first exercise we have to work on it. Next is your hamstring stretch and your roll up and down stretch and your pelvic tilt positions. So this is the first thing we have to expertise. So before we are going to have the swan dive, your all four balance positions, and all. So you can go for the abdominal hollowing and then have to go for a transverse thoracic breathing exercises. You have to well on this first. So the first thing before you are doing PH exercises, so you have to be clear with the lateral thoracic breathing, the abdominal key hollowing, and also the pelvic floor exercises. So these are very important. So where you are going to work on it throughout the Pilates exercises. And initially for the Pilates, what you are going to do is you can go for a hip twist exercises and single leg stretch and the hamstring stretch. Later we can go for the monkey squat, all your swimming legs exercises and swan dive exercises, all those things.
So definitely we can increase it by the by day, and then we can
Yeah.
become perfect. Ma'am, there is a role of the respiration is quite
Yes.
important. Respiration means when we should breathe in and when we should breathe out. So can you easily tell us, ma'am, because sometimes we forget, means when we have to breathe in, when we have to breathe out. So is there any simple formula is there how to remember when we should breathe in and when we should breathe out?
Yes. So whenever you start start moving, just breathe in. So when you are going to move your starting your movements and you're performing movements, you're starting up with your movements, you breathe in and while relaxing, letting it down, you breathe out. So this is a simple one that you can
Means when
do
we
it.
are starting with it, we should breathe in, and
Inhale,
when we are
yeah,
ending it, we should breathe out. Thank you,
yeah,
ma'am. Thanks a lot.
yeah.
With the simple things, you had make it easier for us, and definitely during this COVID times, we should, because it doesn't require up any instrumentation. We can simply do on a mat or without mat, and
Yeah, yeah.
these exercise would are going to help us all physiotherapists, and we can teach our patient also, they can do at their home also. Thank
Home,
you,
yeah,
ma'am.
yeah.
We would
So this is a
like you to,
exercises that is given for beginners only. So this is most commonly it is only for the beginners. So those who are intermediate and advanced level have to be trained with the Pilates practitioner. They can't do as such. So we have to go for a Pilates workout centers. So this is only for the normal individuals who are working at. We can do the workouts at the home itself. We're using a Swiss ball and the mats and the TheraBand alone.
I would request you in the future, ma'am, you should take for the intermediate and for the experts also, because you have shown up a good instruments also. So I would request you, you should come again and again on the Rehabilitation Science Group platform and share your knowledge. Thank you,
Yes,
ma'am.
sure.
Thank you
Thank
for
you, sir.
giving us
Thank
time
you.
and for sharing.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
ma'am. With
Thank
these
you.
things,
Thank you.
we end up today's session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my knowledge through your Rehabilitation Group of Science YouTube live channel.